It's time for America Outdoors Radio. The fast-paced hour of outdoors radio ahead is not only awesome, but unlike those other shows, you can actually sleep in for this one. Better still, we've got a special Pacific Northwest edition for you, sponsored by Northwest Sportsman Magazine, Rugged Point Lodge on Vancouver Island, and Northwest Fishing Guides out of our hometown here in Everett. You won't find this version of America Outdoors Radio anywhere else. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio. Brought to you by Fox Sports 1380 KRKO.
Good morning. I'm John Cruz, the host of America Outdoors Radio and the Pacific Northwest edition of this show. Let's talk about what's hot here in the Pacific Northwest. Puget Sound shrimping, it's been a banner year for shrimping, and as of June 1st, the daily limit for all shrimp in marine areas 6 and 7 west is increasing to 160 shrimp. In addition, marine areas 7 east, 8-1, 8-2, 9, and 11 have reopened for both coon stripe and pink shrimp to a depth of 150 feet. In other words, you've got options around Vashon Island, Whidbey Island, Bellingham, and the San Juan Islands. Early crabbing is also hot. It's open now in marine area 13, that's South Puget Sound, and on the 16th, several more areas are going to open up early, including Marine Area 4, that's Neah Bay, Marine Area 5 at CQ, Marine Area 12 at Hood Canal, and the northern section of Marine Area 9, Admiralty Inlet. What else is hot? Well, how about Puget Sound and Strait of Juan de Fuca lingcod? Catching a nice ling will give you something to do while you're waiting to pull up those crab and shrimp pots. Lingcod fishing's open until June 15th in Puget Sound. The daily limit, 1 ling. If you're looking for a freshwater experience, head to the Columbia River. The lower Columbia is open to fishing for spring Chinook all the way through June 15th, and then summer salmon season opens on the Columbia June 16th. Salmon aren't the only thing you're going to catch out of the lower Columbia right now. There's a catch and release sturgeon fishing season going on the lower Columbia as well. With us here to tell you more about it is Jennifer Stahl. She's the co-owner of Northwest Fishing Guides. Jennifer, tell us more about this fishery and exactly what is the season?
We are fishing for them around the Astoria, Oregon area, Tongue Point, and the season typically is around mid-June to and through July. Mid-June is usually when they start showing up and the water starts getting a little bit warmer the way that they like it.
Now, I've fished further up the Columbia, the mid-Columbia. I fished the Snake, and you're going to get maybe 2, 3, 4 sturgeon on a day of sturgeon fishing up there, typical day. How many sturgeon are you looking at on a summer fishing trip down there on the lower Columbia?
We're looking at more about 25, 30, 35 fish a day, and they can be anywhere between the little ones, the little shakers, or even up to the big 9-footers.
Wow, that sounds like a ton of fun. So, if you want to tangle with a whole bunch of sturgeon on the lower Columbia, contact Jennifer or Jim Stahl. They're from Everett. That's right, they're locals, but they've been guiding for a long time. Their website is nwfishingguides.net. That's nwfishingguides.net. One more thing that's hot. Free fishing weekend. That's right. It's coming up next weekend, the 11th and 12th of June. No license is required to go fishing, and no access passes are needed to get into those Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife areas. So take a novice or a friend who doesn't fish a lot or a kid fishing and have some fun next weekend. There you go. That's what's hot this week in the Pacific Northwest.
And with that, let's head to this week's national edition of America Outdoors Radio.
Want to go on a charter with some of the most talented anglers on the water? Then book a trip with Northwest Fishing Guides. Salmon, that's right, salmon are their specialty, and you'll get a chance to catch them out of the mighty Columbia River from a comfortable and sturdy 26-foot boat. Northwest Fishing Guides will take you out for steelhead and sturgeon too, and can also accommodate your saltwater fishing desires. So, whether you want salmon in the cooler or other fish on the line, book your trip now at nwfishingguides.net. That's nwfishingguides.net. Book your trip with the best.
D.M. Bullard Leather has been in business for over 20 years. We use Herman oak leather to make concealed and open carry gun holsters, as well as knife sheaths, belts, cowboy gear, and wallets. All of our products are handmade, and we even offer exotic skins if you're looking for something really special. Check out our products in 16 different gun shops or go to our website at dmbullard.com. That's dmbullard.com for the best leather you will ever have.
It's time for America Outdoors Radio, the show that covers the outdoor scene across the U.S. of A. and the entire continent. Fishing, hunting, conservation, outdoor recreation, and great destinations. We cover it all every week. It's your country, your outdoors. Let's explore it together with your host, John Cruz.
I am so glad you are here for the launch of our brand new show. America Outdoors Radio is sponsored by Northwest Sportsman Magazine, the publication that covers fishing and hunting throughout the greater Northwest. We are launching this rocket ship of a show on 21 stations in 5 states. We've got listeners today in the greater Seattle, Portland, and Spokane metropolitan areas, along with people tuning in from places like Bend, Oregon, Eureka, California, and Anaconda, Montana. In between, we're airing from the Washington and Oregon coast to the southern reaches of Puget Sound, as well as the Idaho Panhandle and east of the Cascades in both eastern Washington and Oregon. By the way, let me introduce myself. I'm John Cruz, the host and producer of this show, as well as the host and producer of Northwestern Outdoors Radio. I'm a Northwest native, and thanks to my dad, a former fisheries biologist and avid angler and hunter, I was raised to be a fisherman and a hunter too. I've been hosting and producing outdoors radio since 2003, but I've got to tell you, I'm not an expert. I'm actually probably a lot like you, in that I'm good at a couple of things and know a little bit about a lot of things. But I do love the outdoors, whether it be fishing, hunting, or shooting. And like you, I want to get better at all of it. That's why I try to ask the same questions you would as we talk to the various experts, guides, outfitters, and more that come onto our show. So, you're probably wondering, what's America Outdoors Radio all about? Is it like our other show, Northwestern Outdoors Radio? Well, yes and no. We cover the outdoors, and you will see a strong Western U.S. influence here, but this show is going to really focus on 3 things: fishing, hunting, and the shooting sports. Yep, this is going to be a true hook and bullet show, though we will cover conservation issues as well from time to time. As a matter of fact, I think you're going to love our Trail of Shame feature, highlighting those that are breaking laws and damaging the environment and outdoors lifestyle we love. Our first Trail of Shame inductees are going to be 4 young men from Vancouver, BC, who thought it would be fun to go on a 3-month-long road trip in a big blue bus, during which time they went to national parks and other national landmarks in our country and trashed them, all in the name of posting photos and videos to Facebook and YouTube. You'll find we cover outdoors-related news during every show, and we always have a great cast of characters to talk to. This week, we'll start off talking to Mike Salazar with Salt to Summit Guide Service. If you're a salmon angler who's down in the dumps about your saltwater options this year, Mike has got a great option for you. It's called the Columbia River, and the Chinook salmon fishing looks like it's going to be really good this year. After that, we'll be talking to a pair of twin sisters who are simply incredible. Tracy and Lanny Barnes were Olympic biathlon athletes, and they were featured in a heartwarming commercial from Guinness Beer during the last Winter Olympics about the fact that one sister gave her awarded slot on the U.S. Olympic team to her twin sister. These 2 women will tell you more about this and about the 3-gun competition competitors they have just become. We'll go from a conversation with the Barnes twins in Las Vegas to British Columbia, where we're going to tell you about 2 lodges offering some great adventures. Dan Brooks with Crystal Lake Resort in north central BC. Dan Brooks is the owner of Crystal Lake Resort in north central BC, and he's got not only a lakefront lodge, but also a number of cabins and camps amongst the forests and lakes of northwest Canada, where you can fish for rainbow trout, hunt for moose up close and personal, or harvest a big bear. Another place we'll tell you about is Duncan B. Lodge. It's located in Rivers Inlet along the central coast of British Columbia. And Sid K will tell you not only about the lodge, but the great salmon and halibut fishing waiting for you there right now. Oh, by the way, did we mention the exchange rate is really, really in our favor now as U.S. citizens? I'll tell you what, you'll be hard-pressed to find a better deal than you'll get right now traveling north of the border. What else do we have for you? How about a conversation with a bona fide fishing industry legend? We'll be talking to Dick Figgins, also known as Dick Knight Figgins. That's right, the man who manufactures those Dick Knight spoons you've been fishing with for generations for trout, salmon, and shad all over this great nation. Dick will be sharing the Dick Knight lure story, talking a little bit about trout fishing, and I'll tell you what, it's going to be a fun conversation you're not going to want to miss. Heard enough? Well, let's go ahead and get to our first guest. If you live in the Portland area, if you live in the Tacoma area, if you live in the North Sound or Seattle, you're probably a little bit bummed about the saltwater salmon options available this year because not so good north of Falcon, so to speak, all the way to the Canadian border. However, there is a place to go for great salmon fishing this year. With us here to tell us exactly where you need to be on the water is Mike Salazar, the owner of Salt to Summit Guide Service. Mike, welcome to America Outdoors Radio.
Hello, how's it going?
Going great, Mike. You're on the Columbia River right now, aren't you?
Yep, just pulling off the water right now, actually.
And how was your day?
It's been going good. It's kind of a little tough springer season, but consistently getting fish every day, 2 to 3 on the minimum, and better days are 6, 8 fish.
Well, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Let's go ahead and talk about what summer is going to look like, what fall is going to look like on the Columbia River and some of the tributaries. What are you expecting in terms of the forecast and success down there?
Well, last year we were getting 20, 25 fish a day for summer Chinook and fall Chinook, all the way from about June 5th to all the way through November in the lower Columbia. And this year's looking to be about 25% bigger run, so
wow.
We should have some epic fishing days.
Have they settled on the limits yet for summer and fall Chinook?
2 fish limit for summer Chinook, June 15th through July 31st. And then August 1st on, we're going to be able to fish Astoria Megler Bridge, Buoy 10 fishery. It'll start off with a 1 fish limit. And then from Moya Rock all the way to Bachelor Island, there'll be a line projected there on the mouth of the Lewis River, and it'll be a 2 fish limit from there up. When we were getting 30, 40 fish days there on the incoming tide in about 3 or 4 hours last year.
Wow, this sounds incredible. And again, great news for folks who either have no fishing or a 1 fish limit off the coast or in the Sound. So this is good stuff. Let's talk about you, and let's talk about your boat. You've got 25 years of experience, and you've got a brand new boat, don't you?
Yeah, we just ordered a 2015 Columbia a year and a half ago, and we got it last April. It's the most comfortable ride I've ever been in.
So for folks that want to go down there, and folks, I always recommend, if you've never done the fishery before, always go with the guide. You'll learn a lot from the experience. You're also more likely to have success than just kind of winging it on your own. So don't be afraid to name names here. Specifically, if you were to go to somebody who says, hey, what should I use for a quality reel, quality rod, what would you hook them up with?
Oh, I would say Lamb Glass Kenai Quicks are definitely top of the line. They have a new line coming out called Bloodline, and everybody I know is loving those rods. I think I've blown up 1 rod before, and that was on an oversized sturgeon, and I've never seen a rod bend like that in my life before it actually exploded.
Nice.
But 1 rod ever so far, and they handle abuse client after client after client, and like you couldn't believe. And the Shimano Dakota reels are really good, solid reels, and the Daiwa C-Line line of reels is also top of the line. You can't go wrong with those for sure. You get them both with line counters, and it simplifies everything. So you have less tangle-ups throughout the day, and just a less stressful day period and more catching.
Great tip. We're starting to run low on time, but before we do, I want to briefly mention the fact that you offer a catch fish guarantee. In about 10 seconds, tell our listeners about that.
Yep. We offer a catch fish guarantee. Any client that books a trip with us and we start fishing from daylight for 8 hours and we don't get a fish to the boat, then the next trip is half price.
Wow.
It doesn't usually happen very often, but it is fishing, so it will happen once or twice a year. It's just a guarantee that somebody's going to go home with something, like a good picture or good stories or some meat for the freezer.
Sounds fantastic. Well, folks, we have got to go. But if you want to book a trip with Mike Salazar, go to his website. It's salttosummit.com. That's salt, the number 2, summit.com. He's into the springers. He's into the Chinook on the Columbia, and you can be too. Mike, thanks for sharing this with us on America Outdoors Radio.
Thank you.
Dick Figgins with Dick Knight Lures talks about the history and tradition of this Northwest company that makes trout lures and more.
Dick Knight was a fisherman in the 1930s. Our roots are trout. Our heritage is trout. We've been a Washington State company for 81 years. When my parents bought Dick Knight in 1967, there were 15 lures. Nickel, brass, copper, 50/50, and red and white in 3 sizes. We have 285 now.
See Dick Knight on Facebook or at your local retailer.
Great news! It has now been scientifically proven that a good day of fishing is healthy for you. And that's exactly why we hire our own scientists here at iBobber. Just cast iBobber into the water and use the app on your phone to see where the fish are hiding. With sonar, fish, strike alarms, and much more, the iBobber puts serious fishing technology right in your pocket. So go fishing in the name of science. iBobber is available now at Dick's Sporting Goods and Amazon.
Low-limit saltwater salmon fishing got you down? Don't be sad. Head to the mighty Columbia River and get into the great steelhead and salmon fishing going on this year. Mike Salazar with Salt to Summit Guide Service is the man to go fish with. He's got over 25 years experience and knows how to catch a limit of fish. In fact, he's so confident in your success, he'll guarantee a fish. Book your Columbia River trip now at salttosummit.com. That's salt, then the number 2, then summit.com.
Timberline Range Camps are known for their rugged, durable, well-insulated range camp trailers. Don't think of these as an RV. They're an RV on steroids that will last you a lifetime. They are comfortable, too, fitted with all the amenities you would expect, and they even include a wood stove. Timberline Range Camps can be used as a hunting camp or a towable home to take you to your remote getaway. One thing is for sure, all your friends will be envious of your towable range camp trailer. Find out more at sheepcamps.com. That's sheepcamps.com for Timberline Range Camps.
Welcome back to America Outdoors Radio. This portion of the show is brought to you by the American Shooting Journal. For all things firearms and shooting related, check out the American Shooting Journal. Find it at a newsstand near you. We've got a special interview for you. We're talking to Tracy and Lanny Barnes, 2 incredible Olympic athletes. They've got a real story to share. We caught up with them at SHOT Show in Las Vegas, Nevada. Ladies, pleasure to have you here on the floor of SHOT Show. Welcome to America Outdoors Radio.
Thanks for having us. We're glad to be here.
Let's go ahead and educate people about what you've done in the past, and then we're going to look forward to the future. Now, I got to see and learn about you from a fabulous commercial that was produced by Guinness Beer that highlighted, well, your Olympic trials, for lack of a better word. Tell our listeners about that experience.
It was kind of the culmination of our biathlon career. Trace and I are twins, we kind of do everything together, and it came down to our last Olympics, and we had made the final trials, and unfortunately, I became sick at that last trials, and, was one of the favorites to make the team. Gave it a shot, but just couldn't compete in all the races because I was sick, and Tracy, she did incredible. She made the team, and then she turned around and gave her spot to me.
Tracy, that was incredible. And I got to ask, besides the fact you obviously love your sister, why did you do that?
I think it comes down to who we are as people. We've always believed that there's more to what you do than just yourself. We don't do anything for personal gain. And I think as we learned early on that being twins, that there's a team, there's a family, a community who's behind you and helps you to get to where you are. And those are the people that are just as important as anyone else and important to you, and they helped you to get to where you're at. So I saw it as a way to help her. I mean, everyone is down in the trenches at some point and they need a hand up, so that was my opportunity to give her a hand.
Well, it was an incredible act, and again, it rung true, I think, throughout the country and throughout the world, anybody who saw that. And Tracy, I got to bring up something here that you told me before we went on the air. There's a backstory to that Guinness commercial. That wasn't done so much to benefit Guinness, and it wasn't done to benefit the two of you. It benefited somebody or something else.
Yeah, it was a fundraiser for firefighters, so it was a really great event, and it was awesome to be a part of, and we were psyched about it.
Lanny, for our listeners who don't know or who don't really understand biathlon, it's skiing, it's shooting, and that's really simple, but tell our listeners a little bit more about that sport that you two have dedicated yourself to for years.
Yeah, biathlon is one of those obscure sports that a lot of Americans don't know about. Maybe they've heard of it, but they may think it's running and biking or things like that. It's actually the combination of cross-country skiing and rifle marksmanship, and originated as a form of hunting on skis, then became a military tactic, and then eventually made its way to the Olympics. And the combination of the two, going from an endurance sport where you're getting your heart rate up to a skill sport where you have to really focus, just really drew us in, and we're kind of addicted to the sport.
Well, I can see you are. And let's talk about the rifles, because they're very unique. We're not talking about your bolt-action Ruger 22s here, are we?
Yeah, they're very specific to the sport. They're lightweight, can't have them below 7.5 pounds because of safety concerns. The unique thing about them is they're made for speed. So they are a bolt action, but the bolt goes straight forward and straight back instead of the forward and down cocking motion that you get with most bolt action rifles.
How did you make out in this last Olympic?
I had a great finish, but didn't end up with a medal. I think I gave everything I had, and I think that was the best I could do.
Well, I think I'm speaking for most of the country in saying that we're all really proud of both of you for what you did. So you're no longer Olympians, and you've decided to try something new. Tracy, what's up next on the horizon for the Barnes sisters?
We transferred from one exciting sport to another. We're doing three-gun, which is the fastest growing shooting sport in the U.S. It combines rifle, pistol, and shotgun. A little similar to what we did, only we don't have to go a mile before our first shot, maybe only 50 meters. So it's an exciting sport, a lot of running and gunning, and we're really enjoying it.
So what was the transition like going from basically shooting these very specialized bolt-action 22 rifles on skis to going out to the range, and now you're shooting AR-15s? Is it basically 1911s that you're shooting in 45 caliber for the pistols?
It's usually 9mm for the pistols. That's what most people are shooting, and then 12 gauge for the shotgun. For us, it was like a kid in a candy store. A little bit more shooting, less running. It was awesome.
So Lenny, I got to ask. I guess people just tend to stereotype. Maybe I'm doing the same thing. I think of what you've done, and I think that all you ever do is shoot 22s. I mean, do you have some familiarity with the shotguns and the AR-15s and the pistols as well?
Yeah, we do. We grew up hunting and doing all sorts of different shooting sports. So to us, a gun is kind of like an extension of ourselves. We're very comfortable with a lot of different firearms, and we teach courses to women, kids, law enforcement, military, all across the country on all different platforms.
That is fascinating. So tell me a little bit more about these courses that you teach.
So after we retired from biathlon, we developed a shooting school called Top Shooting Institute, where we actually train military and law enforcement how to shoot with an elevated heart rate and under stress. And besides that, we also teach courses to civilians, pistol courses with the Bases bullets, and we do hunting courses. Pretty much you name it. We like to teach kids air rifle, 22, get the next generation up and going.
You're listening to America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. We're talking to Lanny and Tracy Barnes, the Olympic athletes who are now retired and going into three-gun competition. The conversation's taking place at SHOT Show in Las Vegas, Nevada. We're actually at the Fiocchi ammunition booth, and I'm guessing that's the sort of ammo you use, isn't it?
Yes. We fell in love with it. It's extremely accurate, it's reliable, and in a game like three-gun, you have to have something that's reliable because you're doing so much shooting, so much movement, things like that. If your equipment doesn't function, then you're in trouble. So it's really reliable for us, and that's what we really like.
Let's talk about the loads. I always think of Fiocchi in two different ways. Number one, hunter's loads for like pheasant and duck, and they make some great ammo. But target loads, they're usually known for light recoil, aren't they?
Yeah, and especially at three-gun, the most important load for us is the slug. We do a lot of slug shooting in three-gun, and Fiocchi's low recoil slug is incredible because you could have 2-3 shots on top of each other. Be able to do that quickly with a flat shooting round is so important, and it really is accurate too.
Lanny, tell me a little bit more about exactly what a three-gun competition involves. So you're out there at the range. Are you working as a team of two, or are you performing individually?
Unfortunately, we're competing against each other. We always kind of look at it as a team thing and try to help each other out and the rest of our competitors. but it's similar to IPSC, things like that, where you're shooting stages. It can either be a natural terrain stage where you're kind of running up a gully and there's targets set up left and right and you have to kind of find your way up there and shoot the targets, or it could be a base scenario where you're going through walls and shooting through windows and things like that. So it kind of just depends on the match. There's natural terrain matches and then there's bay matches, and they're both fun in their own right.
And I guess we should probably talk about who's sponsoring your team. Go ahead, Tracy.
Yeah, so we've been fortunate enough to shoot JP rifles, which are incredibly accurate. STI, we're shooting the Marauder, which is a 2011 setup. And shotgun, we're shooting the Beretta 1301. Right out of the box, shoots those slugs. Incredibly accurate, super straight. So we've been really fortunate to be with them for our firearms. And then we've been with Otis for over 15 years. Great company, great people, and they're really supportive to us.
Fantastic. We are running short on time, but if people want to follow what's going on in your lives as you compete in three-gun competition and otherwise, is there a website that we can send them to? Go ahead, Lanny.
Yeah, we have a website, twinbiathletes.com, and also topshootinginstitute.com.
That's twinbiathletes.com or topshootinginstitute.com. That sounds really interesting. We're going to probably have to have you on the show just to talk about that subject another time. But thanks for taking the time to be on our inaugural show here on America Outdoors Radio.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having us.
CarolinaBrass.net. We're a husband and wife team dedicated to providing you the highest quality reloading brass and components. From Lake City 300 blackout brass to range rifle to pistol brass, we do it all. We have the brass, bullets, and optical components to make your range dreams come true. And we back it with 24-hour customer service. Go to CarolinaBrass.net to place your order today. That's CarolinaBrass.net.
Whether you're looking for steel targets for fun, competition, or serious training, use what the champions use. CMP Steel Targets. Made from USA steel, built tough and tested tough. There's nothing quite like the of shooting steel targets. Get that immediate satisfaction that you've hit the target. For a great selection of innovative and exciting steel targets, check out CustomMetalProd.com. That's CustomMetalProd.com for CMP Steel Targets, the choice of champions.
It's time for another local shot of the outdoors. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, and you'll only hear it here on Fox Sports 1380 KRKO.
We've been spending so much time talking about salmon fishing that, well, we forgot another great fish to catch, halibut. Now, I know halibut fishing's closed in the Sound. It's still open off of Ilwaco, one fish limit down there. I think that's going to be open a little bit, but you might want to consider heading to Vancouver Island because halibut fishing up there is pretty darn good. The limits are more liberal, and with us here to tell us more about it is Matt Giguette with Rugged Point Lodge on the northwest portion of Vancouver Island. Matt, welcome to the show. How good is the fishing for halibut off of Vancouver Island?
Well, our halibut fishing is really consistent. We expect our guests to get their limits.
And what is a limit when it comes to halibut?
Well, you're allowed one halibut up to approximately 25 pounds and another halibut up to approximately 75 pounds.
Now, that's a daily limit. How many can you actually take home?
The daily limit is one per person and two possession.
Okay, so you can take two halibut home. I like that. I like the fact that I can take them home up to 75 pounds as well. But let's talk about how big these halibut get. I understand there's some real monsters up there, even if you have to let them go.
Oh, yeah. No, we can keep them up to 75 pounds. But in the area that we fish, we've had them over 200 pounds and over 100 pounds very regularly.
Oh, my gosh. That is incredible. All right. One more question for you, Matt. Let's talk about what tactics you use to catch these halibut.
We anchor for them, and then we're fishing in water anywhere from 150 to 240 feet. And we'll use a chum bag. When we use our salmon guts from the day before, we put them in a mesh bag and put them on the downrigger ball, and it really draws them in.
And I understand you tip those jigs with a very special bait, salmon bellies.
Yeah, we'll use salmon bellies and the parts that don't get vacuum packed, and sometimes we'll use herring.
Well, there you go. Some great halibut fishing is waiting for you off the west coast of Vancouver Island. Find out more about catching your monster halibut or your take-home halibut by going to ruggedpointlodge.com. That's ruggedpointlodge.com.
There's a whole bunch more of the great outdoors coming your way on Fox Sports 1380.
Some of the best saltwater fishing you'll ever experience is taking place off Vancouver Island this year, and Rugged Point Lodge is where you need to go to catch them. Rugged Point Lodge offers comfortable accommodations, great food, and the chance to catch a limit of salmon, halibut, and lingcod mere minutes away from the dock. Better still, it's not too late to book a trip for this summer to take advantage of what promises to be the best salmon fishing in a generation. Book now at ruggedpointlodge.com. ruggedpointlodge.com, where fishing dreams come true. You're back with America Outdoors Radio, brought to you every week by Northwest Sportsman Magazine. We're profiling a couple of Canadian lodges this week, and we're going to start off with the Crystal Lake Resort. It's located in British Columbia, and they offer not only great trout fishing, but they offer some big game hunting too for both moose and bear. With us here to tell us more about it is the owner, Dan Brooks. Dan, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me, John.
Dan, I understand you were literally born and raised at Crystal Lake. Exactly where are you at in BC, and what do you offer your guests?
Well, we're right there in the center of British Columbia. Vanderhoof is the nearest town to us. And we have a wilderness lodge and several remote cabins spread out over quite a vast geography that allow us to kind of offer kind of a wide variety of things, right from the luxurious there at our lodge out to the rustic out, something a little more remote.
Well, I'll tell you what, I was diving into your website, and I've seen you at the Sportsman shows before, and forgive me, I always just kind of stereotyped your operation into there's a lodge and a couple of cabins on Crystal Lake. But you're right, you've got cabins all over the place that cater to hunters, that cater to fishermen. It looks like the trout fishing up there is pretty darn good.
Oh, yeah, spectacular rainbow trout up in this way. It's all native rainbows, everything. There's no trash fish or anything in any of the lakes. It's the only species there. So we go up there and we catch anything from just pan-sized fish, and there's plentiful lakes with lots of those. Or if you want to hike into some more remote lakes, you can catch rainbows up to 20 and 24 inches, 3 and 4 pounders. Those are a little harder to get to, but they're very rewarding.
I'm guessing you've got quite a few people that come up there for the summer for the fishing, but come early fall, you've probably got people coming up there for moose hunting and fishing too.
That's right. Come fall, we focus primarily on the moose hunting, and our operation is set up such that we can spread our hunting pressure out. We don't like to put everybody in one place at once. And moose is one of those species where you don't want to overhunt a certain area. So all these cabins that we have really allow us to access a really wide area that give us better moose hunting opportunities. So a lot of these areas we hunt, they only see a couple of hunters a year. Our success rates are very high because of that, and our quality is also very high. We get some really nice moose up there.
So when it comes to the moose, I know a lot of hunters, they'll basically do a spot and stock when it comes to moose hunting. But what you do is you specialize in calling these moose into range. A little bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, and actually that's the most thrilling time to do it. So we only sell our moose hunts in the rut so that we can capitalize on that calling opportunity. And so you're only getting the premium hunts from us. And we do an awful lot of hunts right there, right in that 3-week period, which is about the 20th September to the 10th of October. And probably 75 to 80% of the bulls that we harvest are called in. And that is just a thrill, John. You can't imagine the adrenaline-pumping rush it is to call in a bull moose to 20 yards and have him stand there in all his magnificence and glory with a tree stuck in his antlers, grunting at you. There's just something about that gives every hunter a rush. And it is absolutely the premier deer species in North America to hunt. And calling it in is the most rewarding experience a hunter can have his entire life.
Well, Dan, you've already got goosebumps forming on my skin just picturing that right now. And I'm guessing this isn't just for rifle hunters, but for bow hunters as well.
Sure, yeah. We have one camp that's specific to our archery hunters because it's all meadows, which is very convenient for archery hunters. But we do hunt an awful lot over water because there's so many tiny little lakes around there. It's just a real neat experience right here in the interior of British Columbia. Really strong moose population, lots of opportunity relative to moose, and of course that calling experience is going to give you the best possible chance at harvesting a bull. And it's not just a hunt. We're not just driving logging roads. We're not road hunters. Everything's on foot, very traditional. So when you harvest your moose, you're going to feel like you earned it in ways that you might not otherwise just on a spot stalker.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, I'd like to get into bear, but we don't have time. But suffice it to say, folks, if you're looking for a fantastic Canadian fishing hunting experience, check out Crystal Lake Resort near Vanderhoof, BC. Dan, why don't you go ahead and give out a website and a phone number so folks can find out more?
Sure. Our website is crystallakebc.com, and the number to reach us at is 250-944-0435.
That website again, crystallakebc.com, crystallakebc.com. Check them out. Get ready for your next awesome fishing and hunting experience. Dan, thanks for telling us all about it on America Outdoors Radio.
Thanks, John.
You know, as we talk about these vacations in Canada, I've got to tell you, this is a great year to go. The exchange rate is really in our favor. I was checking just the other day, and our U.S. dollar is worth about $1.30 in Canada. That's a lot of purchasing power. And I've done several Canadian fishing trips over the years, and I've always timed them when our dollar is strong. I've been up to BC for fly-out fishing. I've been to the Northwest Territories to a remote camp. And this year, I'm heading up to Vancouver Island to go fishing with Chad's Coastwide Sports Fishing. So again, take advantage of the strong dollar we have. Head north for a very affordable price. Next up on America Outdoors Radio. If you like saltwater salmon fishing, you're probably a little bit depressed if you live in northern Oregon or anywhere in Washington State, because salmon fishing options are pretty limited due to some poor returns and the lack of agreements that we're coming up with this year. However, it's a different scene north of the border in British Columbia. With us here to tell us more about what's expected to be a banner run of Chinook salmon this year is Sid Kay. He is the owner of Duncan B. Lodge at Rivers Inlet, BC. Sid, welcome to the show.
Thanks, John.
Sid, the Chinook forecast, I understand, is supposed to be really good up there in the inlet.
Yeah, the returns are predicted to be, terms like generational are being used. They're supposed to be the best since modern records have been kept, so we're pretty excited up here.
Anglers, especially those fishing off of the Washington coast, they only get to take home one salmon for a very short amount of time this year. How are things sizing up in terms of possession limits for anglers that are fishing with you, and what is your season going to be this summer?
Our season starts on the 11th of June, and it ends on September the 3rd. And the salmon limit, the in-your-possession salmon limit in British Columbia is 8 salmon, 4 per day, and a maximum possession of 8.
Wow, that sounds really nice. Quite a bit nicer than what you're going to harvest down here this year. All right, and I understand salmon's not the only game in town. You've got some really good halibut fishing up there, too.
Yeah, we have tremendous halibut fishing very close to the lodge. At Duncan B, we give you all the gear. So your boat's set up with the salmon gear, and it's also set up with the halibut equipment. All the boats have GPSs and sounders and radios and downriggers, the whole show.
So speaking of the whole show, when it comes to the fishing itself, is it guided fishing, is it unguided fishing, or can you do either?
You can do both, and a great many of our guests do. A lot of the first-time guests take advantage of the guides, and some of those folks just fall in love with the guided experience and go with it every single time. So we have a fleet of Grady Whites, 13 23 to 28-foot Grady White boats in our fleet.
Nice.
But we have 18 self-guided boats, which are Boston Whalers and a Canadian boat called a Hurston Glasscraft. And a lot of our guests have been coming for years, experienced anglers, and just love that, getting out there and doing it on their own. One of the advantages at Rivers Inlet at Duncan B is the fishing grounds are very close to our facility, so no long driving to get to the fishing grounds. And we're a team up there. So the self-guided boats work with the guided boats just like they're a guided boat on their own.
Oh, that's fantastic. Gotta mention something else here. I like the fact that your website promotes not just the fishing. I mean, especially on a year like this, you might get your possession limit pretty quick, but there's other things to do there. You've actually got some kayaks that are available for the guest use, and you've got some wildlife watching out there too.
Yeah, we've got kayaks and canoes. New this year, we have a jet boat for taking people on tours of some of the tremendous estuary and river systems. We've got a 32-foot, 15-passenger boat that can take people on whale watching tours and that kind of thing, which they can do on their own. Most quite often you do the whale watching right from the dock. The area is also known as the Great Bear Rainforest, and it has the largest population of grizzly bears in the world. And those grizzly bears love those salmon as much as we do. So you get an opportunity to see them in their natural feeding areas. Humpback whales, orcas, the Pacific white-sided dolphin, There are more bald eagles than Rivers Inlet than there are anywhere else in the world. It's an absolute mecca for the wildlife. The Central Coast and Rivers Inlet is a very unspoiled area. There's no access to it by road. You can only get there by boat or by float plane. It's very much the same. Other than my little lodge and a few others, it's very much the same as it was when God first built it.
Well, Sid, it sounds fantastic. We are out of time, but folks, we didn't even tell you about the great lodging available there and the wonderful meals, too. So you're going to have to go to the website to find out more. It's DuncanB.com. I'm going to spell that for you. DUNCAN, just like Duncan, and then BY.com. That's DuncanB.com. Check it out and make plans to get up there this summer or next summer for a fantastic Canadian salmon fishing experience. Sid, thanks for telling us all about this on America Outdoors Radio.
Thank you, John. My pleasure.
Jim Houston for Duncan B. Lodge, where the Duncan B difference means more than just a fishing trip. Oh, there's spectacular fishing for salmon and halibut like few places in the world, but the setting makes your camera as important as a fishing rod. And in Duncan B. Lodge, the vacation is yours. Catch the early morning bite or just catch some rays on the dock. Dine at your leisure and enjoy the beauty of Rivers Inlet. Book for this summer or next and enjoy a tour at DuncanB.com.
Come to Crystal Lake Resort. Come, enjoy the thrill of calling in a bull moose. The quiet of the remote wilderness. The pleasure of good food and new friends. It's more than just a moose hunt. It's a moose experience. Book your trout fishing and moose hunting trip now at CrystalLakeResortBC.com. That's CrystalLakeResortBC.com for your moose experience.
Hi, this is Scott with Mike's Truck and Linux in Santa Clara, California and Hayward, California. We've been around since 1983, and we service the entire Bay Area for all your truck accessory needs. We do it all, from Linux spray and bed liners to Nerf bars, tonneau covers, toolboxes, suspension lifts, and even wheel and tire combos. Come in and see us today so we can help you get your truck to not only look great, but function great as well. Mike's Truck adds real value to your truck. Visit us at mikestruck.org for more.
Dick Figgins with Dick Knight Lures talks about the history and tradition of this Northwest company that makes trout lures and more.
Dick Knight was a fisherman in the 1930s. Our roots are trout. Our heritage is trout. We've been a Washington State company for 81 years. When my parents bought Dick Knight in 1967, there were 15 lures. Nickel, brass, copper, 50-50, and red and white in 3 sizes. We have 285 now.
See Dick Knight on Facebook or at your local retailer.
If you're looking for a spectacular Alaska experience, come to Annie Mae Lodge. Surrounded by Glacier Bay National Park, this beautiful inn serves meals both hearty and delicious. Annie Mae Lodge is located in a unique destination with all sorts of fun things to do, from whale watching to guided kayak trips to amazing fishing charters for both salmon and halibut. Book your Alaska adventure now. Go to AnnieMae.com. That's Annie Mae, spelled MAE.com.
D.M. Bullard Leather has been in business for over 20 years. We use Herman oak leather to make concealed and open carry gun holsters, as well as knife sheaths, belts, cowboy gear, and wallets. All of our products are handmade, and we even offer exotic skins if you're looking for something really special. Check out our products in 16 different gun shops, or go to our website at dmbullardleather.com. That's dmbullardleather.com for the best leather you'll ever have.
It's time for Outdoor News, and this portion of the show is brought to you by Northwest Sportsman Magazine, the publication covering the fishing and hunting scene throughout the greater Northwest. According to Women's Health, a study's been done and found that women are attracted to men holding fish. That's right. Men holding puppies can be attracted to some people, but a new study reveals nearly half of women are attracted to men holding fish. Fishing app FishBrain analyzed Tinder photos used by 18 to 35-year-old men in Florida, found that 22% chose a photo of themselves posing with a recently caught fish. Researchers then polled more than 1,000 members of a college sorority to see how they felt about the photos. Turns out, 46% said they found the photos of men with fish sexier compared to those who had photos without fish. Now, it also came out in this study that what kind of fish you're holding makes a difference. For example, the guy holding the picture of a very small carp didn't impress too many women. But if you hold a big fish or a good-looking fish, well, you are going to be a sexier man for it. So there you go. If you're posting on Facebook or dating sites, go ahead and post a picture of yourself with a fish. You might just get a strike. And now it's time for a brand new segment you're going to hear on America Outdoors Radio every week.
It's time for the Trail of Shame.
Shame, shame on you. Shame, shame on you.
Stories of poachers, scoundrels, and other ne'er-do-wells, so if you see someone committing a criminal act on the water or in the field, turn them in. It's the right thing to do.
Their names are Justice Cooper, Alexei Locke, Parker Huser, and Riker Gamble. They hail from Vancouver, Canada, and together have a company and a Facebook page called High on Life Sunday Fun Days. They've been traveling to national parks and other outdoor destinations this spring in a big blue bus, photographing and filming their exploits along the way, and then posting on YouTube and Facebook. Well, you ought to be careful what you post, boys, especially when you're breaking the law and damaging some of our greatest places in the United States. The four caught the attention of rangers at Yellowstone National Park after they decided to ignore all the signs of the Midway Geyser Basin, telling visitors to stay on the boardwalk and off the fragile ground bordering the geysers and hot springs. Heck, they even filmed themselves looking at these signs before purposely wandering off trail to walk on this fragile and protected ground right up to the Grand Prismatic Springs. Other hijinks have come to light. The group flies a drone in the Badlands National Park, also against the rules, and then takes a whole bunch of pictures of themselves water skiing behind their blue bus in the shallow waters of the Bonneville Salt Flats in Utah, which is completely against the rules the Bureau of Land Management has for this area because, again, of how fragile and pristine this area is. Law enforcement rangers at Yellowstone National Park are investigating. Hopefully, Badlands National Park rangers and the BLM will do the same, and with any luck, these four will receive some hefty fines and maybe a little jail time to go with it. So, High on Life Sunday Fun Days, boys. Thanks for coming to the Lower 48 and trashing our national treasures. For that, you get to be the very first to walk the Trail of Shame. Now, do us all a favor. Go back to Vancouver. And you know what? Do us a favor and don't come back. We really don't want to see you in any of our national parks ever again.
Shame on you.
Next up on America Outdoors Radio, we are talking to a bona fide legend. His name, Dick Knight Figgins. He is the owner of Dick Knight Spoons. They've been around for a long time, and they're based in Lake Stevens, Washington. Dick, it is a pleasure to have you on our first show.
Oh, it's nice to be here.
So I got to ask you, Dick. Dick Knight Spoons, Washington Company, long history. Tell us the story.
Well, Dick Knight was a fisherman in the 1930s, and he had a barber in Lake Stevens named Bill Williams. It sounds like it's going way back, but it kind of has to. He had a barber named Bill Williams. He came in one day and said, "Bill, I made this fishing lure." And he had hand-cut a piece of brass and used a ball-peen hammer and a drill and some piano wire for rings and some kind of a hook. I don't know what the hook was. We had the lure for a long time. He said, "This thing really works." Fast forward a few years, Bill owns Dick Knight Spoons. We don't know how that happened.
Okay.
Bill owns Dick Knight Spoons, and he's taking them out to resorts and lakes and showing people these spoons, and they become a company. Fast forward 10, 12, 15 years, my dad is a mailman, Ken Figgins. He has Bill Williams on his mail route. And he says, "Man, I want your job. You're always going fishing." He used to put a note in your mailbox that said, "Hold my mail, I'm going fishing." And Bill said, "Well, you never know. I'm getting old." Next year he come out and he said, "You still want it?" And Dad said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "I'm selling Dick Knight." He said, "Yes." He took an early retirement from the post office. I worked for him for a year, and that was 1967, so I was 11 years old.
Wow.
And my folks bought Dick Knight Spoons. So the fact that it's Dick Knight Spoons and my name's Dick is a coincidence. I wasn't even a glimmer in my dad's eye when Dick Knight was invented. The man Dick Knight, his name was actually spelled K-N-I-G-H-T, but it was too long to fit on the lure.
Ah.
So they shortened it to Knight. So And it's one of those little trivia things.
You see, I thought you were going to tell me some story kind of like, from A Princess Bride with the Dread Pirate Roberts, where, the name just gets passed down and somebody retires. And that.
My name is Dick Knight. Yes.
All right.
I actually asked my son if he's going to take over for me someday, and he said, "Yeah, as soon as you make more money than I do."
Oh,
he's in computers. So
you might have a while to catch up in the fishing tackle business.
Yeah, fishing tackle business isn't that kind of business.
So I've got to ask. I've heard crazy rumors about Dick Knight Spoons. I've heard the company is based out of your garage, out of a shop, a whole lot more. Where are your lures actually made?
Right here in Washington. That's about as specific as I get. We've been a Washington State company for 81 years.
Wow.
We are in a shop on my property. I don't have a retail space. I don't have a factory that people can come to or anything. So I call it the global headquarters of Dick Knight Spoons, but its location is a secret.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So your spoons, I was introduced to your spoons when I started pink salmon fishing, and I know that a Dick Knight spoon caught a record Humpzilla pink salmon, and I was reintroduced to your lures when I went shad fishing. The 50/50 brass and chrome Dick Knight spoon was very popular with people down in the Columbia River fishing for shad, and I'll tell you what, that still works, folks, and that those shad are starting to come in now. But you started out basically using this as a trout lure, and I guess you're kind of going back to that now, marketing this as a great trout lure.
Yeah, our roots are trout. Our heritage is trout. That was trout. Remember opening day when they used to open it on April 15th or April 21st, and everybody was just getting excited, and everybody was talking about, oh, man, where are you going? Going to Lake Annette, going to, Lake McMurray, wherever, Martha Lake. We're away from that. They've opened all the lakes. We don't really have an opening day. And I kind of miss that about fishing, the camaraderie and the fun and the excitement. Kind of trying to push back towards trout fishing and family kind of fishing. I'm getting old. I don't need to make $1 million anymore. So, but in the first 60 years, it probably is not gonna. So,
how many SKUs in terms of how many different types of colors and sizes of Dick Knight spoons are there for people to choose from?
Well, it's kind of a funny question, or it's a good question. Funny answer. When my parents bought Dick Knight in 1967, there were 15 lures: nickel, brass, copper, 50/50, and red and white in 3 sizes. We have 285 now.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
And we have 18 kokanee dodgers, and we have 4 scents, and we have 12 salmon flashers, and 19 different kinds of fishing tackle, fisherman's lure coat fishing tackle paint. So. Things grow, but all those original lures still work.
Absolutely they do. And never turn your back on the originals, folks. They will never let you down.
You know what? They used to catch all the fish, and they still would.
Oh, nope. You're absolutely right. We are starting to run out of time, Dick. It has been a pleasure, but before we go, we got to steer people to your website and your Facebook page.
All righty. Yeah, we're Dick Knight, DICKNITE on Facebook, and our website is dickknight.com. Love to see people.
Absolutely. Dick Knight, DICKNITE on Facebook or dickknight.com. And, of course, you will find these spoons in every reputable sporting goods store near you. Dick, great talking to you. Have some great time out on the water.
All right. Thanks, John.
We hope you've enjoyed our very first broadcast of America Outdoors Radio. I'd like to thank our sponsors at Northwest Sportsman Magazine and the American Shooting Journal for supporting us so we can bring you an hour of fishing, hunting, and shooting every week. America Outdoors Radio is on Facebook, and I'd invite you to like us and follow us there. I also hope you'll check out our website when you get a chance. You'll find it at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com, and you'll find our Trail of Shame segments there as well. If you want to hear our whole show, along with quite a few other outdoors radio shows, go to WRVO Radio. You'll find it on the internet at RenoViolaOutdoors.com. America Outdoors Radio airs several times every Friday and on Sunday mornings too on this internet station dedicated to outdoor programming 7 days a week. You can find out more and also find out about when we air on the 22 great radio stations in 5 states carrying our show by going to the TuneIn page on our website. Again, that's AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. School's letting out, and it's time for some late spring and early summer adventure. So, whether you're heading out to the range, into the field, or out on the water, have fun this week, and I hope to see you out there.
Great news! It has now been scientifically proven that a good day of fishing is healthy for you. And that's exactly why we hire our own scientists here at iBobber. Just cast iBobber into the water and use the app on your phone to see where the fish are hiding. With sonar, fish, strike alarms, and much more, the iBobber puts serious fishing technology right in your pocket. So go fishing in the name of science. iBobber is available now at Dick's Sporting Goods and Amazon.
Come to Crystal Lake Resort. Come, enjoy the thrill of calling in a bull moose. The quiet of the remote wilderness. The pleasure of good food and new friends. It's more than just a moose hunt, it's a moose experience. Book your trout fishing and moose hunting trip now at CrystalLakeResortBC.com. That's CrystalLakeResortBC.com for your moose experience.
Jim Houston inviting you on a West Coast wilderness vacation to Duncanby Lodge. From the moment you fly right to the dock, you'll notice the Duncanby difference. It's your vacation. Fish on your own or with a guide, catch the bite when you're ready. No set meal times here. Dine off an extensive menu when you want. And this, in a setting just off the entrance to Majestic Rivers Inlet. Come on up this summer and enjoy a few days where time, date, and currency mean absolutely nothing. Check us out at Duncanby.com.
Timberline Range Camps are known for their rugged, durable, well-insulated range camp trailers. Don't think of these as an RV. They're an RV on steroids that will last you a lifetime. They are comfortable, too, fitted with all the amenities you would expect, and they even include a wood stove. Timberline Range Camps can be used as a hunting camp or a towable home to take you to your remote getaway. One thing is for sure, all your friends will be envious of your towable range camp trailer. Find out more at sheepcamps.com. That's sheepcamps.com for Timberline Range Camps.
If you're looking for a spectacular Alaska experience, come to Annie Mae Lodge. Surrounded by Glacier Bay National Park, this beautiful inn serves meals both hearty and delicious. Annie Mae Lodge is located in a unique destination with all sorts of fun things to do, from whale watching to guided kayak trips to amazing fishing charters for both salmon and halibut. Book your Alaska adventure now. Go to AnnieMae.com. That's Annie Mae, spelled MAE.com.
Dick Figgins with Dick Knight Lures talks about the history and tradition of this Northwest company that makes trout lures and more.
Dick Knight was a fisherman in the 1930s. Our roots are trout. Our heritage is trout. We've been a Washington State company for 81 years. When my parents bought Dick Knight in 1967, there were 15 lures. Nickel, brass, copper, 50-50, and red and white in 3 sizes. We have 285 now.
See Dick Knight on Facebook or at your local retailer.